The plan is for this one, the house I'm working on has a wood stove that's not installed yet. So it has the 6-inch piping running all the way up. So I'll shove this 5-inch ducting into the chimney for the wood stove, and then that'll just vent out of the house, and I'll have heat in the space. So that's pretty much it for that one. You know, blowing nice warm air. You know, I just direct that to where I'm working, and I got my makeshift flex hose there. So that'll blow the exhaust out under the door. I could always get some insulation and shove it under there, or get a board and put it against there. Just close the gap off. So this is what it looks like before I remove the valve and the thermocouple assembly and all that stuff that fails. Here's the line that goes to the pilot light. Here's the main burner line. Here's the switch for the valve. I think this is the valve here. Here's your regulator. I believe, I'm not a furnace expert, but yeah, so I believe that's your regulator. And on this one here, your line in, here's your valve. There's your power for the valve, so that actuates the valve, and then goes into your 2 burners there. This one has electronic ignition on it with the coil pack and the sparker in there. The sparker works. But the valve is sticking, and I was jumping it with the 20 volt battery to get the valve to open, and I might have fried something in the boards. Okay, so I got the line for the pilot light off. That's gonna go before the main valve for the burner on my construction heater plan. I don't need any of these wires here. You know, don't need any of that nonsense. Need something that's worry-free, that's going to work all the time, not the valve seizing up. There's the thermostat off. Okay. Come on. There we go. Oh, didn't disconnect the thermocouple there. I think it's called the thermocouple, where it senses the heat from the pilot light. It sits right above your pilot light. It gets hot, so the furnace knows that the pilot light is on, and it opens the valve in there. So without this little valve from the thermocouple that opens the first valve to allow the propane in, you could be setting yourself up for a furnace exploding, because the whole purpose of this is to ensure the pilot light is on before allowing propane into the main burner. What can happen is, you know, say your pilot light's not on, but you're still putting propane into the burners. You know, the flue fills up with propane and air, and then you go light it and it goes bang. You know, could possibly blow your furnace apart and singe your eyebrows off, and all sorts of fun things, so you don't want to do that. So anyway, I'm bypassing that by taking this whole safety unit off here. So with my modification here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a T-fitting here. This is the line that goes into the main burner. And then off the T-fitting, there'd be a little valve that goes to the pilot light, so I can turn the pilot light on first. And then I have another valve on the other side of the T-fitting that turns the propane on for the main burner. So, and I will visually make sure the pilot light is on before I turn the main burner on. And in the event that I don't even want to use the pilot light, I can just stick a barbecue lighter in there and then turn the main valve on, and then that'll get the burner going. But you know, so it's not a safe setup, but for a construction heater, it's pretty maintenance free. Yeah, so I'm gonna make sure I get the pilot light on there, then I can shut it off, and then when I want to turn it back on, I just turn the valve back on and it lights back up, and the pilot light can stay lit. So I have a valve that runs the pilot light, and I have a valve that runs the main burner, coming off of the same propane line. And everything mechanical, I got to turn all the valves myself. So nothing electrical to fail, and it'll be more reliable. You know, like when it's minus 40, I wheel this thing over and just light it up and get some heat on something. So that's the plan anyway. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. So the biggest risk of doing this is not, you know, it going poof when you light it. The biggest risk of doing this is the burners going out, like say there's a gust of wind down the pipe and it blows the flame out. The propane will stay running, and then you get a shop full of propane, or you get a building full of propane, or propane under a tarp near some equipment, and then you go in there and you make a spark, and then you get a real big bang, you know, and a real big ball of fire. So that's the risk of doing this, that if the flame goes out, the propane still keeps going in. Okay, so there's my valve setup. Propane comes in, turn on the valve for the pilot light, and then once pilot light's lit, turn on the valve for the main burner, and should be good to go. So turn on the propane, and got my sparker here. Yeah, I got my sparker. Okay, turn on the pilot light. There we go, pilot light's lit. Okay, we'll try the main burners. Okay, there's the main burner. I think my regulator, there we go. There we go, that's working as it should. Okay, so I can turn off the pilot light. There we go. Or I guess I can keep it running. Turn off the main burner. There we go, pilot light's still running. I think my regulator is the wrong pressure. To dial it back a little bit. No. Okay, and we start all over again. Okay, pilot light on. There we go, pilot light on. Okay, that's right there is the lowest pressure I got the regulator at. Okay, and it's not quite enough for the burner, but there we go, up the pressure a bit. Yeah. So it's working, and that's what's good about having a pressure regulator. You can dial it back or dial it up. You can do that with flow too, so if you have just a valve in the line, you can restrict the flow, just like on a Tiger torch, kind of the same thing. And then you could just have it running, you know, just warm instead of hot. Okay. I don't know what you call it, the flue or the runners, the hollow runners are getting hot, so I'll plug it in and we'll see how much heat is coming out of there. Uh, 73, 74, 75, 79, 80. So yeah, maybe I turn the burners off there. So I thought when I plugged it in it would just come on, but so there's the black one, and that one should go to the black one there. So I got the hot wires bypass the relay or the switch. I'm not sure what that device is, but put a Moret on there, and when I plug it in the fan should start. You can always throw a switch in there too. If you want a switch on there, just you know, run it through the switch. So one side goes to one side of the switch, other side goes to the other side of the switch. There we go, fan's running. So I'll turn the burner back on. This is a propane furnace from a garage. Other places you might find a propane furnace or in a mobile home furnace or a garage furnace. You can do a natural gas furnace, but you'll have to probably change the jetting in there. Natural gas is low pressure, high volume. Propane is high pressure, lower volume. So that's the difference between the two. So natural gas furnace will have bigger jets, and you won't get the proper mixing of propane and gas if you run propane through a natural gas furnace. And then for this one here, it's going to be a little bit different story. This one has a powered exhaust on it, and this is I guess a higher efficiency one, I don't know. But you got it's a smaller furnace. You got just the two burners there. Yeah, so what happened with this one is the valve is sticking, and then I was using a drill battery to try to get the valve unstuck by just tick, 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 you know, just like trying to pop it so it was, you know, loosen up in there. And I plugged it in while I was doing that, and I fried something on the board. So I'm not gonna order a board for it. I'm just gonna hot wire it like I did the other one, kinda. This one here is cool because it has a powered exhaust on it. I don't know what you call that, power draft or anyway, you can throw like a corrugated pipe to the end of it and put a zip tie on it, or put a hose clamp and you know, run the exhaust out of the shop, and then this can stay in the shop. That's why I mounted this one to a cart. So it's just gonna be on the cart there, and I can wheel it where I need it and just run the exhaust out the door. That's the plan anyway. I hope I don't get carbon monoxide poisoning doing that. The trick with this one is getting the sparker to function, to ignite it, because without the board active, it's not gonna go through the cycle and ignite the flue there. So yeah, this one I might just have to use the sparker, or I can get one of those you know, barbecue sparkers. I don't have one here. I'm probably not going to pick it up, but this is something you can do. Drill a hole, put the barbecue sparker there, and then just run it into there. And then when you turn your gas on, you just hit the barbecue sparker, and then that'll light the burners there. So this one's pretty easy. Just going to bypass everything. So when I plug it in, so the fan for the exhaust and the fan for the you know, hot air that comes through the burners, or through the flue, or through the pipes there, they'll be just tied together. So that's just 120. So when you plug it in, the fan comes on, the exhaust comes on, And then you just turn the valve for the propane, and then you just light it here at the flue, or you just get a sparker to spark it. Yeah, I might look at the board. There's got to be a relay there that just, you know, you just jump the relay and then it'll just spark, you know, zzz, you know, on its own. I think there's a circuit there for that somewhere. I'm not sure which relay does it. But I'll play with it. Maybe there's a couple wires I can touch together, and I'll just put a switch there to make it spark. Okay, I got an old propane end. I'm just going to use that quick hand screw-on type one instead of the wrench style. A hydraulic hose that I don't think is leaking, and an old oxygen regulator. And I'm going to plumb that in there, and that'll regulate my propane going in. Hopefully it has enough flow. My propane bottle's frozen. Gotta heat that sucker up somehow. There we go. So I think the pressure is a little bit too high. It's flaming out above there. Yeah, it's flaming out past. Yep, it's getting too much propane. Maybe my regulator will, I mean, that's like off. Yeah, I need a better regulator. But, I mean, well, that's some nice hot air that's coming out of there. And I got my makeshift flex hose there. So that'll blow the exhaust out under the door. I could always get some insulation and shove it under there, or get a board and put it against there. There we go. And there's the exhaust coming outside. And on this one here, I raised the heater up a little bit so I could fit the propane bottle underneath and turned into a nice little setup. I can just wheel it wherever I need it. This one you do have to have a vertical pipe coming out of the top. Excuse my flexible pipe here. There we go. That's all I had handy. I'll have to go get some 5-inch ducting. Propane on. Pilot light on. Light the pilot light. Pilot light's lit. And just turn the main burners on. There we go. Main burners are on. And turn the fan on. And we got heat. And there we go. Exhausting out the top. I don't got it plugged in, but you get the idea.